Hey, what's going on? This is a request video from Willwood487. He made a comment on my slingshot Les Bear Stinger, and he kind of wanted to know about different 1911 frame sizes and things like that. So here we go. The basic standard, tried and true government model size. You got a 5-inch barrel. You got a full-length grip frame, usually holding 7 to 8 rounds, depending on the magazine. For flush fit, I generally prefer a 7-rounder, but I do have some Chip McCormick Shooting Star 8 rounds that work pretty good. But I generally prefer flush fit for B7 round. That's just me. Then you have the Commander, which has the 4¼ inch barrel. That's for some of them build, like Kimber, I think, like Springfield Champion, and other ones like that. They'll build them with a 4-inch. You can see the difference in the slide here. Get this thing lined up. I'm using this Springfield because it's got a kind of a tougher finish angle, but banging up against it, you can see the difference in the slide length right there. I hate this camera view. I'm having to cock my head and things like that, but you can see there the grip length is usually the same, but you have a little bit shorter dust cover. Get this thing lined up. Yeah, you can see there. See the slightly shorter dust cover right there. I have seen it where people have taken government model frames and put them with Commander slides, and it just looks ugly. They got it sticking out right there. And when the Commanders were first introduced by Colt, I guess back in like 1950, they were just called Commanders. And then around like 1970, when they introduced the Combat Commander, which had a steel frame versus an alloy frame, they originally had these alloy frame model became the lightweight Commander. So, and they were usually had it chambered in 9mm, 38 Super, and 45 Auto, which is kind of crazy. They had it chambered in 9mm. They never had one like that before. Generally, you had it 38 Super and 45. There was also like some national matches that were in 38 wad cutter, but generally you had 45 and 38 Super. So it was kind of cool they had one in 9mm. And it was in a Commander. They didn't make one in a government model size that I know of until the Series 70. And then next up we got the officer frame. This is the October 1984 Guns and Ammo edition. You got the first look 45 ACP officers model. I guess the year before in 83 is when they introduced the Series 80. And the officers have like a 3½-inch barrel and a slightly shorter dust cover. Look if I can find the article here. What's great about looking at these old ass magazines from the 80s, it actually does have all three: alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. You see alcohol ads and cigarette ads. This is all three here: government model, officer, and Commander right there. Give you a look right there. And the grip, I'm going to just use a magazine to represent the grip size. I will show it too. Get these lined up. And that's the difference you got in the grip right there. Not much, but it does aid in concealability. Right here, if I can get it right. Well, do it this way. Don't care if I'm banging up the finish on this thing. It's just the way it's got to do it. Alright. You can see right there. And for those that don't like the officer size frame, want to still have that one more extra round of capacity, you can have like a bobtail, right, versus a bobbed right here. And it was in, I guess, mid to late 90s, Colt introduced the CCO, which stands for Concealed Carry Officer. They took a Commander slide and an officer frame, which is like what this Les Bear Stinger is. They each have their own little name. And like even Dan Wesson still call it, I'm probably able even to call it that. Dan Wesson has a CCO. If you check out Fish Sticks channel, he has a Dan Wesson CCO, which is really nice. And I think most of them, most of the time when you get the compacts, they will generally have an alloy frame. But the way this, with Les Bear, I don't think he builds anything with a dang alloy frame, which kind of sucks. It kind of would be cool if he did make it. I mean, this thing does have some heft to it, but it does make it's a little bit easier when you're shooting it. that kind of thing. And while some will argue that once you get shorter than a 4 1/4 inch barrel, the reliability can kind of be a little bit less, I guess, because of the timing and things like that. That's what a lot of gun riders get. I've never had any experience with the 3 1/2 inch models or 3 inch models and stuff like that, so I can't really say. But for the looks, I generally prefer like a Commander slide or Government Model slide. And there is some scaled up 1911s. Like you got this, look at this 1985 annual. I got some old ass magazines here. I generally buy them off eBay. I buy them like lots. Like one time I bought like a decade's worth of Guns magazine from like 1990 almost. And you got the LAR Grizzly and like I think Kunin Arm. They have like the beefed up versions. Of course, this is just all black and white stuff here. And what's cool about that, you got actually troubleshooting the 45 about the stovepipes and things like that. Stuff you don't see anymore nowadays. You just whatever the hell flavor of the month is going out. But yeah, and these magazines are pretty good articles if you want to try to just nothing but 1911. This is the custom edition one that has the kind of the big three of semi-customs: Bear, Wilson, and Ed Brown. Which there's also Nighthawk too, but I guess you can't get but in there. And they got a lot of good articles. This was cool. The earlier 45s they had here. This was the custom 45 auto. Back when pretty much everybody they had to take it to before they had semi-customs and things like that. It's a pretty cool article about some of the stuff they had back in the day. Yeah, I'll just kind of breeze through it. I doubt you'd be able to read anything. Different types of checkering they had, like stippling, and I'm not sure what you want to call that. And you got them big ass Bomar ribs, which look ugly as hell, but I guess you want really good sights. Things like that. Good old stuff back in the day. Damn Ruger 1911, which some guy, it was at a gun show, when I bought that car, a guy was trying to sell one for $875 damn dollars. And there's another, this Centennial Edition, which says it's not really the custom stuff, but still pretty good. Les Bear article. Make good guns. Yeah. 45 long slide with laser sight. Look how huge that shit is compared to nowadays. But yeah, and this one's okay. 2011. I'm actually subscribed to American Handgunner. And some different books. Is this the 1911 First 100 Years? It goes into some of the history of the development, but it has a lot of just a lot of newer stuff and just old school customs. Like you don't see stuff like this nowadays, and things like that. And like a Bellart or Bellhart kind of customs, kind of crazy stuff. You see they had back in the day. But yeah. And that's just the general history book. And then you got the Shooter's Guide, which I was really surprised with this book. I think I got it as a bulk pack with that in this book. And it was like discounted. And it's pretty good. Goes in a little bit of the modification. Did have some gun tests in here. I think I got most of these from Guns Digest. But I think you could probably get them from Amazon about the same price. There's also a Gun Digest book, the 1911. There's 2 volumes. And they got gun test. That's by Patrick Sweeney. This is written by Robert Campbell. We got different 1911 tests. So if you're in 1911s or want to try to get into them, something like this is good. But I think that kind of covers everything about 1911s. I may get into more detailed stuff about the different cartridges. I'm really just into the 45 and 38 Super. I never really had any 9mm and any 40 Smith & Wesson, which I don't think they're all that popular. But I think that kind of covers everything. There's also like a pair of ordnance. They make like double stack, like the P14. They have a P13, which I don't think they even make anymore, which had I think a Commander slide, officer frame, but of course it was a double stack and stuff like that. And they make like some little 10-round Warthogs and stuff like that, but it's not general in the single stack stuff like that. So I don't really want to get into it. But okay, I think 10 minutes is pretty damn long for one of my videos. But appreciate y'all watching. See y'all later. Forgot to add another book, 1911 book. wanted to go ahead and mention him, but it was Stephen Camp, he's mainly into high powers. He had a website called High Powers and Handguns. Unfortunately, he ended up passing away. It's a shooter's guide to the 1911 pattern pistol. I'm about to start another video, but it's just a lot, just kind of like that other book, but a lot of different modifications and things like that. I'm pretty sure his widow is still running the website. At least I remember right, she was. That's another book to check out. I mean, it's not like it's all professional done, but it's bound and all that, and has good stuff in it. So I figured I should mention that. But his website was High Powers in Hand, because that's where I first ended up coming into it. But I wanted to go ahead and mention that too. All right.